Okay, so the next step in the in the SC10.2 build is we're going to start working on the CVAs, the turnbuckles, and the aluminum hubs. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to grab the left side aluminum hub and attach this nice little piece of carbon fiber here using 2 1/4-inch round-headed screws. So this is going to lay on here like that. And we're going to attach it with this size screw right here. Just like so. Now the next step, now you can see we have different positions here. We're going to use another ball stud here to attach a turnbuckle. We have different positions. We're going to use this one right here, that little hole right there, if you can see that. So we have a black ball stud. Mount it through there, just like that, and then a little dust cover goes over top of that. Like so. Lock washer goes on the back. Keeps the ball stud from backing out. Okay, and we're going to do that again. We're going to do ×2. That's the left side, we're going to work on the right side. There's your rear hubs right there. Okay, next thing we're going to start putting together the CVA joints. So we start out with 1 CVA bone. We're going to take this CVA coupler, little tiny piece, has a hole in the middle. It's a cylinder threaded on in the one hole, and then another hole for the what part is that? CVA cross pin. And this part's calling for some black grease, so we got our black grease ready. Put some black grease on here. This is a high heat area, I guess. This is going to be spinning pretty fast. All right, so we got the CVA coupler greased up, black grease. Put that in the CVA bone. Then we're going to slide the rear axle over top of that. Now, there's a little hole in that cylinder, and there's a hole here in the axle, right here. We're going to line all that up, just like so, and slide a pin through. This little CVA pin here. It's got to go through everything. Just like that. I might even put a little bit more black grease in there now that I got that all together. All right, so there's one. We're gonna have we're gonna take this here, this CVA pin retainer that slides over, and there's a notch in it. If you can see this notch, that's supposed to be on one of the opposite areas of the where the pins are, because you don't want your pin to come out through that notch. So you're just gonna snap this in place, just like that. That's gonna hold that pin from coming out. And the manual calls for a little bit of glue there. So we're going to get our tire glue out and put that little bit of glue on there. Just so that doesn't want to move and let that pin come out. So we'll let that dry and we'll do the other one. So there's the second CVA right there. We're going to let that one dry too. So next step, we're going to just kind of assemble the CVAs into the hubs, and I have everything laid out here. We have a little shim here. Then we go to the smaller bearing. This is a 3/16 by 3/8 bearing. The hubs that we put together earlier, and then this is a crushed tube goes in between the two bearings, and we have the bigger. It's a .187 by .196 bearing that goes in at the end. So pretty much laid out, straightforward. So we're just going to go ahead and slap all these together. Start with this one. Only thing I'm going to do right now is I'm going to put a little bit of diff lube in here. Just a little bit. And throw this puppy on top. There's one. Do the other one the same way. Just like that. Okay, so that's the rear axles here. Next step is I'm going to put the hex hubs on. Now this is kind of cool. I like this set because my other oops, that one got away from me. The other SC10 I have doesn't have these. It uses some other system, and this is cool because now you can use any type of wheels, from any other aftermarket company or whatever. It's the standard 12mm hex, so that's kind of cool. So we have to get these pins here, 1/16 roll pins. You know, this is pretty straightforward. It's like most RCs, they're how their rear hubs go on, and that goes through here. That little hole in the axle. Throw the hex hub over top of that. You got to line the pin up. Now we have these little tiny set screws. See that there? They're going to lock the hub in place just like the front wheels. Throw the hex hub over top of that. Line these up perfectly. Set screw. And that holds the hub into place right there. So there you go. Two rear axles, two rear hubs, ready to install them onto the car. All right, so we're ready to install the CVAs and the hubs into the car itself. So for those of you that want to laugh at my expense, I actually put the A-arms in upside down in the original build. They're completely identical, but you got to have this little notch here. I don't know if you can see that. That's the space where the CVA runs. So yeah, this little notch has to face up. So I had to flip those around real quick. So just when you're watching the other video, disregard the direction that I put them in because it's wrong. So the CVAs, CVA and the hub goes in with a series of, you have this pin that holds the whole thing together, and a series of washers. And what you want to do is you want to have the factory Team Blue washers. They go in the back of the hub. The silver ones go in the front, and the pin goes straight through, held in at the end by this little set screw. So kind of like how we installed the A-arms to the chassis. So we'll start from the front. Little silver washer. Goes on next. Just like that. And we go through our hub. And this can be a little tricky. I might not be able to get this on camera, but you got to get the little factory team. Slide that one into the factory team blue washer in the back. Okay. And then we hold the pin in the front with a set screw here. So there's the right side. Flip this around so you can see the left side. Oh. Yeah, the CVAs will not stay until you put the turnbuckles on, so we'll just have them hanging there for now. And it's the same sequence. You want to start out, feed the pin in from the front through the silver washer, through the hub, and then the factory team washer, the blue one in the back. I'm not exactly sure why the one in the back is blue and why that's important, but and then you hold the whole thing in place with the little set screw that goes in the back. I'm sorry, the front. It goes in the front. Okay, so now to hold this whole thing together, we'll get the turnbuckles ready to go. But that's where we're at so far. So to hold the whole thing in place here, we got the turnbuckles, and they're supposed to come in at 2 inches and 2.10 inches, 2 1/10 inches. I'm sorry, and right there, that's pretty damn close. So funny, I have one of my buddies online. He tells me how these things rip up his hands, and I hear you, man. They really do. But this time I wised up and I used a vise, so that's why I put these together off camera. So we'll get those installed now. One thing I want to touch base on is when you're putting these on the car, on your RC, there's a little notch on here. If you can see that there, that always points left. I think I was a little confused. It was a little confusing in one of my other videos. The reason that is oriented that way is because you can tune this turnbuckle. You can make them come in or out by twisting this little square in the middle, and because you have threads that are in opposite directions. So it's pretty much orienting the. So if you tweak them the same way, you know if you're coming in and out. I don't know if that's confusing or not, but there's a reason for it. So this little notch here always goes to the left on your car. Okay, here we go. So that is pretty much it as far as the chassis goes. Well, now we still have to do the shocks. So, but that'll be another video.